Welcome everybody to our 11th annual celebration luncheon here at Habitat for Humanity of St. Joseph County. You know, this is a little bit different. I'm used to looking out in the audience and seeing all of your smiling faces, so I'm just having to use my imagination. But we're so glad that you've taken a little bit of time out of your busy schedule to join us. I'm sure some of you have your lunch there in front of you. You've probably sitting at your office or at home, and we're just really excited to be able to share with you some of the things that are happening here at Habitat for Humanity, and especially letting you hear firsthand from some of our families. Now, just for fun, as we get started here, I know some of you are probably still logging in and getting settled, but we've got a picture that we came across in our archives that we want to put up on the screen right now. We found an old photograph of our main office. I don't know exactly what year this was taken, but I want to give you just a second to study this picture. Many of you have been to our offices on South Street, just east of downtown South Bend. But look at that. That is our office building. And we zoomed in on the top of that building, and we read the date 1892. And it used to be the old Avery and Spellman grocery store. Isn't that fun? That's now where we call our second home, and we've done so much good work out of that building. At some time in its history, there had been a fire in that building, and it was sold to Habitat for Humanity. Someone told me like for $1, and volunteers went in and helped rehab it, and that's now where we have our main offices. So we thought that would be fun to show that to you. Before we really get into to our presentation, I did want to maybe give a few pointers on how you can maximize your experience here in this luncheon using the Zoom format. I wanted you to know that you can toggle in and out of the video view. So if you want to see the presenter's picture up on the right-hand corner of your screen, you can do that. But there's a way to hit a drop-down menu and turn that feature off, and you just see the presenter's name. So I wanted you to know about that. You also can ask us a question or make a comment using the chat feature. So I invite you right now to just take a look and figure out how to do that. So if you want to give us some feedback or ask a question, that you can do that. This is the first time we've ever done a virtual luncheon. So with technology, you never know if you're going to have a snafu or not. And if the video freezes for some reason, just give it a few seconds and give us a chance to resolve that. But we just wanted you to know that if that does happen, we'll figure it out. You can also watch this presentation, obviously, on your computer. You can watch it on your cell phone. And if for some reason you wanted to follow along on the GiveGrove platform as well, so you could see what's happening with the silent auction, you can open that in another screen, another window on your computer, and toggle between the two. But most importantly, we want you to pay attention and hear all the great stuff that we have for you. The silent auction will be going until midnight tonight, so don't worry, you're not going to miss out on anything. We also want to just start off and say thank you to all of the sponsors that helped to make this presentation possible. And first, we wanted to mention the Healy Group. The Healy Group provides services in business insurance, personal insurance, individual and senior health benefits, individual tax preparation and planning, and full service independent financial services. I've been at Habitat for 12 years, and I think Healy has been a partner with us almost that entire time, and just can't thank them enough. All their employees, just all the support they've given us, and we thank them for sponsoring this luncheon. Key Bank also is one of the nation's largest bank-based financial services companies. They were one of our main supporters of the 2018 Carter Work Project, and just can't thank them enough for their partnership and helping to make this luncheon possible as well. Also, the University of Notre Dame. Their Habitat for Humanity student chapter is one of the longest running collegiate chapters in the nation. And today, a little bit later in the presentation, we're going to be sharing with you about an exciting new partnership with the School of Architecture, but we thank the university for sponsoring this luncheon. And last but not least, Net Activity. Their mission is to help businesses become more competitive in their industry by utilizing information technology. And we're proud to say that they help us manage the IT systems at our office there on 402 East South Street. So thank you, Net Activity, for sponsoring this luncheon as well. And then you may have seen in some of our advertising that United Federal Credit Union stepped up in a really big way and provided a $5,000 matching challenge. And so at the end of this presentation, we're going to be asking you to give to help us end the year strong. And essentially, because of United Federal Credit Union, your gift will essentially be doubled. So thank you, United Federal Credit Union. This has been an unusual year, as we all know, with COVID-19, but I want you to know that our mission has not changed, and the need for affordable housing is even greater because of the current health crisis. And we love to take pictures at Habitat for Humanity, and what you're seeing on your screen right now is one of my favorite Habitat pictures of all time. That is one of our Habitat family members who was part of the Carter Work Project saying thank you to one of the volunteers that helped build her house. And when I think about what we want to accomplish in these next few minutes, I want each one of you to walk away from this feeling appreciated, and to know how much we just appreciate your support, and that you know that we couldn't do this without you. And so that's what that slide represents to me. But think about all those Habitat families that are now living in a safe, decent, affordable Habitat house. How much easier, well, I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know if it's easy, but it is easier to get through something like this COVID-19 pandemic when you know that you have a reliable home to live in, a safe, decent, affordable home. When I think about what parents are being asked to do right now, especially those with young children, schools that are deciding to go to virtual instruction. We're reading in the news all the time about how serious this COVID-19 pandemic is. But to think about parents, maybe their kids are having to stay home now, to know that their kids are in a safe environment, knowing that their house payment is very affordable. They might have to dip into their savings to get through this, but knowing that their Habitat house is affordable and that their kids are in a safe environment, it has to make a difference, and you all have helped us make that possible for these families. But we are determined to come through this pandemic stronger than ever before, and to leverage the things that we're going through to make us stronger. And I just want to say a big thank you to our board, to our staff, and to our volunteers. Our board members, many of them are on this call, if not all of them. And when this pandemic first hit in March, we started meeting on a weekly basis just to put together a plan, just to help make sure our employees were safe, that we could stay on track as much as possible. And these board members donate so many hours of their time and their expertise. Just hats off to all of our board members and our staff. I mean, what they have done, just picking up additional responsibilities, just with a good attitude, doing just whatever it takes to help us get through this time. Just want to say thank you to our staff and, of course, our volunteers. You're going to hear a little bit later about how many projects we've actually been able to get done in spite of this pandemic. And it's just absolutely, absolutely amazing to see how everybody has come together. And so I'd like to introduce you to our team. And this is kind of fun. I don't get a chance to do this as much during our normal luncheons because we've got a traditional format, and we don't have the time per se to have you talk to all of our staff members. But we're going to take just a few minutes here and just kind of get some insight from each of them. The first one we have is Kenny Wagner, our construction manager. Kenny, as I look back, I think that of all the construction managers that we've had at Habitat, Kenny has probably built the most Habitat houses. He's overseen that, and he probably has built the highest quality Habitat houses that we've ever built. So that's quite an accomplishment, Kenny, and I know this has been a very unusual year. Why don't you tell us what we've had to do on the build site because of COVID-19 to keep all of our volunteers safe?
Well, thanks, Jim. Of course, the first thing was to get the literal gallons of hand sanitizer that we've needed. Trying to get the face masks was hard when we were first able to start having volunteers on site. Then it was, what do we do with all of our tools? People are touching them. We can't just require one tool per person. It just doesn't make it feasible. So I forget, it was in one of our weekly meetings, but somebody suggested it's called J512. And I believe it was in talks with a fireman. And what we typically do after every work day now is we have some of it mixed up and we spray down our entire trailers. So it's ready to go out when that trailer goes out the next day, everything's sanitized, and we're ready to go.
Well, hats off to you, Kenny, and all of our supervisors and construction crew. I tell everybody it takes a very talented and unique person to be on the construction staff at Habitat, because you've got to have just as many people skills as you do construction skills. And we're very fortunate to have the team that we have. And I know that many of them are watching this here on their lunch break. Now, Kenny, I know you wanted to say thank you to a few groups of people that we could not have gotten through this year without them. So why don't you take a minute and just tell us who those people are.
Well, thanks again, Jim. Thanks for everybody that is here on the video. Really like to send a big thank you to, of course, our midweek crew. Without them, that midweek crew has now grown to better than 40 people on my weekly email. I'd like to send a big shout out to our women's build crew. Jane Pitts really brought that together. And one of our new sponsors this year, Asher Roofing. They really came to bat. I had to get a new roofer, and man, they really stepped up when we needed the most help.
They really did. I think we even have a slide here with some of those groups with their logos that we wanted to put up here on the screen. But we really appreciate all of them, and just know we couldn't have gotten it done without them. Well, thank you, Kenny. We're going to be talking to you a little bit later as well. But next, we want to talk to Nita Townsell. And Nita is our receptionist, and she is either the first voice you hear or the first face you see. And Nita, we are so glad to be able to have you as a part of this. But tell everybody what you're going to be doing today as part of this presentation.
Why, thank you, Jim. It's such a delight to be here today for the virtual luncheon. And I get to do something very special, and that is to present our door prizes to two lucky individuals. So can't wait for that, Rick.
Okay, now tell them what we're giving.
Sorry,
tell them what we're giving away, Nita. What are those door prizes?
Okay, I'm sorry, Jim. We have a wonderful just in time for the holidays, a Martin's gift card, and also a gift card to Corn Dance. Another good and wonderful gift card.
All right. Well, thank you, Nita. We're going to have a good time just making those announcements a little bit later. And then, Rick, we want to talk to you a little bit, too, as our mortgage specialist. A lot of people don't realize maybe how complex a Habitat affiliate is. We're a construction company. We're a mortgage company. We run retail stores. In some ways, we're a social service organization as we help our families. We're a traditional nonprofit. And you help us with all your expertise in mortgages and your experience with banking, particularly with credit unions. Rick, we couldn't do it without you. Tell everybody a little bit of how this year and all of its uniqueness has impacted mortgages, and then say thank you to a few of our partners, if you would.
Jim, thanks for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Well, as you said, we are a mortgage lender. Many people don't realize that one of the responsibilities we have here at Habitat is to offer and make mortgage loans to our partner families. And so We work with them from beginning to end. We coach them from the time that they're accepted into the program. And then when it gets time for them to make their mortgage application, we go ahead and work with our mortgage partner, First Source Bank. They originate our loan, they process, they close our loan, and it's a great process. We've done well over 60 transactions with them and have had a very good experience.
Well, thank you, Rick. And I know one of our challenges throughout this pandemic has been trying to get paperwork from our families. And that is, that's a big part of a mortgage application process, and trying to keep everybody safe and trying to make all that happen. That leads me to our next staff member, and that's Morgan Spees. Morgan is our homeownership specialist, and she works directly with our families along with the rest of the team there in homeownership. Morgan, tell everybody kind of what have been some of the challenges. You've done such a great job, but tell everybody what you do and how you work with the families.
Thanks, Jim. Well, speaking of some of those challenges, we've already had a few since starting the luncheon here at the office with our technical difficulties. So I hope you can hear me okay. We're doing good. We're doing good. No, it really is some unique challenges that we're facing on top of the challenges we typically have with our future homeowners. There's something called the technology gap or the skills gap divide, where if you don't have the access to, say, a printer or a scanner, that time really lengthens between us getting a document to the bank or being able to verify income or something like that. Not to mention, our families always go through hundreds of hours of educational classes and courses. And like everyone in education, that has gone fully remote. So they really are teaching themselves now all of those homeownership skills. And I couldn't be prouder of our future homeowners in the program. They've really stepped up to the challenge.
I'm glad you said that. They really have stepped up. And one of our goals as a staff that we've been talking about is how can we leverage this experience to make us better? And it's forced us to try to be creative and find new ways to do things, to communicate with our families, to get paperwork, try to simplify the process, and sure appreciate, Morgan, what you do to make all that happen. We also want to talk to Terry Burks, who's our Director of Finance and Administration. And you can imagine in a time like this, managing costs and just making sure that we are a well-run ship, so to speak, and having someone making sure they're keeping their eye on all of that. We are so fortunate to have Terry Burks with us. Terry, tell us just a little bit about what you see from your vantage point with just people's giving patterns and just what you do here at the affiliate.
Thanks, Jim. I'm very blessed to be here. One of the things with the giving patterns, I've been amazed, even in this environment with COVID, this community has been so generous, and they continue to be generous to us and continue to give, and it's greatly appreciated. One of the things that I do here is try to stretch our dollars as far as we can so we can help as many families as possible.
Absolutely. And it's something that is important for us to be good stewards of the finances that are entrusted to us. I often say that I can't think of now I know I'm biased, but I can't think of an organization more worthy of philanthropic dollars than Habitat. We know that our project works, and we know it has a very sincere and real impact, positive impact on our family. So thank you, Terry, for what you do. Next, I was going to introduce Jennifer Owens, but Jennifer is our Director of Resource Development, and she oversees our restores. And we had an unexpected staffing shortage at the restores. And I said, Jennifer, listen, we totally understand. We're going to give you a chance to handle that this morning. I'll pinch hit for you and tell everybody about all the good things that are happening at the restores. I doubt there's too many people on this call that don't know what the restores are, but we just simply call it Goodwill home improvement style is basically what it is. We have anything you'd find at Lowe's or Home Depot. Some of it's new, but most of it's donated inventory, and people can save money and know that they can find a good deal, but that the proceeds go to help a really good cause. And so we just want to thank you, all of you hearing me right now, for supporting the restores and shopping at the restores. As you know, we have furniture, we've got paint, we've got hardware, we've We've got flooring, just some great deals. And Jennifer has helped oversee, along with the Restore managers and all the staff, just a great comeback this year, because we had to close the stores for 2 months. And so we had to dig out of a pretty deep hole, and I'm just so proud of how hard they've worked. But Jennifer is actually on site at the Restores right now. And like I said, we're going to we wanted to put in a good word for her and for the Restores. Last but not least, I want to introduce you to our new Director of Home Ownership, Mr. Elliot Jeremiah. And I also want to give a shout out to our previous Director of Home Ownership, Montana Knapp. I think he's actually watching this right now. Montana, we sure appreciated the 8 years that you gave us. You did a great job. There were some big shoes to fill. And while I was going through the interview process, I was, internally, I was just praying, Lord, help us to find the right person, because this person interacts with our families more than any other person on staff. And it's such a key role. And Elliot, I remember when you and I first talked, that I knew I needed to just be objective, and I needed to talk with all the different people that I had lined up to interview. But I just knew in my gut that you were a good fit for Habitat. And I was so excited to be able to follow up with you. And one thing led to another, and here you are. And we're so glad to have you. I think we have a picture of your family that we're going to put up on the screen here. But while we're doing that, Elliot, tell everybody just a little bit of your background and just greet everybody, if you would.
Well, hi, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say thank you, Jim. What a wonderful introduction. I believe I will be taking Jim with me on the road to introduce me every time I perform. So it's official, Jim. Listen, to answer your question, I've been working in the nonprofit world for over 20 years, working with young people and their families, and they have been gracious enough to allow me to grow with them as well. I am excited now to be a part of Habitat family, continue to work and serve families in the St. Joe community, for sure.
Now, Elliot, what was the name of the program that you managed? You had several counties. How many different high schools schools did you work with?
I worked with, at the height, over 19-20 schools within the last 10 years and served 5 different counties here in the upper Indiana area.
What was the name of that program?
It is called Jobs for America's Graduates. It is a national program, JAG for short. And believe it or not, Indiana, I'm proud, is one of the biggest in the nation that serves as a JAG service to youth.
And you not only worked with those young people, but you actually had to interact with their parents as well, right?
That's correct. Had to work with parents, had to work with within their homes, and understanding that the fact that it is important to the core of development starts at the home. So working with the parents and getting them to alongside, I would say, a partnership in getting the young people to the destination, the end line.
Knowing that you had that kind of background and experience working with our Habitat families will be very, very similar. But we know there's a lot of information being thrown at you right now in terms of just getting up to speed in the whole orientation process. But it's so glad to have you on board, and just wanted everybody to meet you. So we'll be talking a little bit later. But thank you, Elliot.
Thank you.
Now, we wanted to, and I think I got out of order a little bit on the agenda, so I hope I didn't mess you up, Kenny, but we wanted you to say thank you to a few people. And I think we have a slide of some of those people that you mentioned a little bit earlier. There we go. Go ahead and just say a few more things, Kenny, to make sure we properly thank them for their service this year.
Sure, real quick, Jim. As you know, there's been a lot of people that are referring to this as a unique year. I'm referring to it as a crazy year. All the way back March 20th, we had to lay off our entire construction crew. And it wasn't until April that we were able to actually start building again. Thank goodness we were able to get most of our original construction crew back with us. And a big thanks goes out to Jerry and Dave and Liz and Daniel and Matt has just come back and is now working with us. So big shout out to them. When we did get back to work, it wasn't until July. And another big shout out to Jane Pitts, the Women's Build Board Committee, all their volunteers, because not only did we kick it off with full masks on, et cetera, but it was at the Restore on Blacktop, and I think it was 97 degrees. But man, everybody was there, just really hit it out of the park. And that house is now up and ready to go to that new homeowner, which is Kia Lucky. I think we'll hear from her a little bit later. Shout out to our Matthew 25 volunteers. That house is almost done. And a couple of really big success stories have been, I was faced with having to find a new roofing crew. And actually the same day that I had to get rid of who we were using before, I contacted our GAF rep, and he actually said that that day he had got a call from Omar Asher Roofing, and how can he get involved with Habitat for Humanity? That's the way things happen here at Habitat. And they have superseded in all respects everything we can ask out of a subcontractor. They're now a partner. It was right around July, August that we decided we really needed to help out our seniors and reestablish our Aging in Place program. And our best thought was to work outside only. I approached Asher Roofing and Omar and Ricky, and they were all for it. They were ready to help us any way they possibly can. So a great big shout out to them. I'd also like to thank again our midweek crew. Again, I cannot thank all of you. A lot of you come out on a weekly basis. Those numbers are up to 40 plus, which is huge. And then last but not least, back in late August, I was contacted by the Mishawaka Building Trades teacher, and they were having problems. They weren't sure what the school situation was going to look like for them, whether or not they'd be able to physically build a house. And Fred and I talked, said we can probably do something. He went back to his board. The staff there at Mishawaka High School, and by early September, they were out. I think he's got 16 students out there helping him, and they've been out there every day since, rain or shine, helping us build these homes. I'm sure I've forgotten somebody. I don't mean to, because without all of you as either a midweek crew, volunteer, subcontractor, we very appreciate everything that you do to help us build these homes. With that, I'm going to pass the video and the microphone to Rick Oswald, our mortgage specialist. I think he's all the way across town in that old building on South Street.
Kenny, thank you very much. And yes, I am on the home office here at 402 East South Street in South Bend. Well, as many of you know, I like to talk, so I'm going to try to keep my remarks brief as I see that smile on Jim's face across the way. I want to give an update on our Habitat families and a few of our homeowner programs. Our families have encountered COVID-19 challenges like many other families, and then some. Many have endured employment interruption through job loss and with a cutback in their work hours. Parents have become learning experts for and with their children. 6 households have had family members diagnosed with COVID-19, and fortunately, successfully, they have overcome the virus. Early on in the pandemic, we developed a mortgage payment forbearance plan to assist those families who were adversely impacted by COVID-19. You may know that many of our families are essential frontline workers in the medical profession, and they are in dangerous work environments every day. And I'm very happy to report that their mortgage payment performance has been better than expected. During this year, we've also been able to provide critical home repairs for families in 2 of our homeownership programs, our Aging in Place program and our Veteran Critical Repair program. The goal of the Aging in Place program is to help seniors over the age of 60 remain in their home safely, independently, and comfortably. This year, we have assisted 10 families with repairs through our program. And we want to give special thanks to our volunteers, Joanne Schloss and Andy Place, who were instrumental to the success of our program. We also want to thank our other partners in this program who helped make these repairs possible: Asher Roofing, the Community Foundation of St. Joseph County, and the Robert and Clara Milton Foundation. In addition, we were able to assist 5 veteran families through our Veteran Repair Corps program this year before we exhausted all of our funding. We would like to thank the contractors who worked on these projects, as well as our funding partner, the Home Depot Foundation. And finally, we want to thank our homeownership and mortgage partners who work hand in hand with us and our families to help them make a smooth transition into home ownership. Our mortgage partner, First Source Bank, our down payment assistance partners, La Casa of Goshen, the City of Mishawaka, the Federal Home Loan Bank of Indianapolis, and last but not least, our closing partners, Marsh Consultants and Meridian Title Corporation. Now, I'd like to turn the program over to Nita Townsell, and she will have the name of the first lucky winner of our first drawing this afternoon. Nita?
Why, thank you. Thank you so much, Rick. And our first, can everyone hear me? And our first winner is Karen Hahn. You are the lucky winner of the Martin's gift card. Congratulations. And back to you, Jim.
All right. And I think the dollar amount on that gift card is $75, right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. So
Congratulations.
you could buy a lot of food for $75 at Martin's.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Nita.
All
okay,
right.
everybody, we're going to switch gears and just give you a little bit of idea of what has happened in 2020. And it started off in February, where I traveled to Washington, D.C. before the pandemic hit. And we had an event called Habitat on the Hill. And what you see in front of you there is a picture of just several, I joined literally hundreds of people from all over the country to talk to legislators about affordable housing legislation. And the goal was to help make affordable housing an issue that was front and center, that our legislators would understand how many people still are struggling with what it costs them to have a house, what it costs them to rent an apartment. And so that's what we were doing. And I just wanted to share with you that that is part of our mission. Yes, we build houses, but we realize in order to serve as many people as we want to, in order to have the greatest impact, we also have to be involved with advocacy. And that's what Habitat on the Hill is all about. I've got a few statistics while we go to the next slide, just that might give you just some pause to think about just how critical this issue is. 1 in every 3 families in the United States are paying more than 30% of their gross income on housing. And 1 in every 6 families are paying more than 50% of their gross income on housing. Now you might say, well, Jim, what does that mean? What is affordable? What's not affordable? Well, the standard definition of affordable housing is housing that costs you less than 30% of your gross income. So you can see there's so many millions of people in the country right now that they can't find affordable housing, particularly in our large metropolitan areas. A lot of people can't live and work in the same place. You know, they can go downtown, they can go to the metropolitan area and work, but it's too expensive for them to live there, and they've got a very long and expensive commute. Here's a few more statistics that kind of bring it closer to home in Indiana. 1 in 8 Hoosiers spend more than 50% of their pre-tax income on housing. And another way to say it, if you look at the statistics for St. Joseph County, there are 14,000 families in St. Joseph County, Indiana, the area that we serve as an affiliate, that spend more than 50% of their gross income on housing. Those are the families that need Habitat. Right now, they're living in substandard housing. Some of them are dependent upon government subsidies. Most of them, if not all of them, don't see any way out. They don't see any way they could possibly get a mortgage and afford their own home. And Habitat literally is their only option. So that's what you're helping us to do. Those are the families that you're helping us to serve. Now, this time I was going to turn it over to Jennifer Owens again to tell you about all the great things that we have available at the Restores. And I still want to just put a little shout out for them that I'll tell you what, I tell everybody you should shop the Restores once a week, because you just never know what you're going to find. Right now, the dishwasher in my kitchen, in my family's kitchen, came from the Restore. The second refrigerator in our garage came from the Restore. Have a beautiful leather chair that we found at the Restore that is in our basement right now in one of our sitting areas. I just love the Restore because it works at so many different levels, and we just want to give them a shout out and encourage all of you to shop the Restores if you can, just knowing that it goes to a good cause. When I think about COVID-19 back in March, when it first hit, we originally, this is kind of laughable now, we originally thought that the virus would spike in April and last 3 months. Well, that despite our best laid plans, it turned out a little bit different than that. Our staff started to work from home on March 25th, but not all of our jobs that we do at Habitat are conducive to working from home. Even in our home ownership department. I mean, it's so file driven. You have to physically have your hands on the files. So we're trying to work through that. But one of the hardest things I ever had to do as a leader of an organization was back in March to lay off 17 full-time staff members and 17 part-time staff members, and to reduce our budget by 30%. There is no way that you can do that in a way that it doesn't hurt. Now, that includes our Restore employees, construction, and office staff. And thankfully, we've been able to bring back the majority of those employees. But particularly in the office right now, we are operating on bare bones staff just so that we can, like I said earlier, be good stewards of the money that is donated to us. And because we don't know just exactly what the future holds, we're still building houses, we're still serving families, but we're trying to tighten our belt any way that we can. And just wanted to let you know that's what we're doing. And the fact that we are doing a virtual luncheon with over 100 people on this call and with reduced staff is a minor miracle. And I just want to thank all of our staff for pulling together to help make this happen, and wanted to thank Big Idea here in Mishawaka for helping us to put this on and to host this as well. You know, it is amazing when you think about what this affiliate has done since 1987 when we first got started. We've built over 230 houses in our community. Those are 230 families that year after year, they realize the savings and the benefit of being in a stable, safe, and affordable home. We've mobilized over 30,000 volunteers. We've invested over $20 million in the local economy. It's fun to tell you those numbers because that's significant, and you all have been a part of that. But this year, if you want to just focus on what we've done in the past 12 months, we have worked on 25 different projects. Now, 13 of those have been what you normally think of as our normal house builds, either new construction or a major rehab. And then 13 of those, or 12 of those, have been repair projects, primarily doing projects for veterans. We did 4 of those, and we did 8 projects for our Aging in Place program, which, if you don't know what that is, that's just a program where we help senior citizens who really don't have any place else to turn. They need their house fixed up. And because of COVID, we didn't feel comfortable going into the homes. We wanted to be very careful. So we started to do exterior projects only. And so what we have done is we have done roof replacements for senior citizens that have had roofs that were leaking. And you can imagine how appreciative they are going into winter that their roof is now fixed. And just hats off to our team for helping to make that happen. And honestly, we had 2 volunteers step up. Joanne and Andy Place, Joanne Schloss and Andy Place Sr. step up and just help us keep that program going. And they've agreed to help us next year as well. And it's such a benefit to our community. So that's a little bit in terms of house production, what we're doing. But here's my favorite part. And I know some of you are probably wondering when we were going to get to it. We want you to hear directly from our family. So we've got a video queued up now for Women Build, and we want to tell you what happened on one of our favorite builds of the year that just was so successful. So watch this.
My name is Kia Lucky. I'm 30 years old. I was told that I was going to be partnered with the Habitat Woman Build. I was very excited when I found out the news. I started crying. I'm truly blessed. They're very supportive, and when you go through life and you don't have any support or feel like there's no one there for you, or you've been let down so many times, to have that support, knowing that there is someone actually out there, you know, that's willing to help you and want to give you a hand and want to see you succeed and do the best, and you hear them telling you that they have your back and you know that they're proud of you, and that it's a good feeling. It's the best feeling in the world. So when I found out the good news, that was one of the happiest days of my life. For me and my kids, it was going to be a life changer. A way to thank you guys for giving me this opportunity. It means a lot. You guys are is helping me achieve my goal at the age of 30 to become a homeowner, which I've always dreamed of, and now that dream is coming true thanks to you guys. And for that, I want to say thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank Jane Pitts and Jill Donnelly, the entire Women Build committee, all those volunteers that came out, Coach Muffet McGraw from the University of Notre Dame, just getting out there and helping to get that house built. Here, look at that picture. These ladies, I think we have a picture to show you there on the screen. This is how they started their morning. You can just feel the energy from that picture and the enthusiasm. Coach McGraw is leading those ladies in some stretches, some calisthenics before they get started swinging those hammers. I think we got another picture to show you of them putting up the walls. Oh, you know what? Stay on this picture just for a second, because I want to make sure that we recognize some of those companies that are listed on that screen. The Vera Z. Dwyer Charitable Trust, the Judd Layton Foundation, Place Builders, the McFarland Foundation, Teachers Credit Union, Wells Fargo, and let's see, the McCormick Foundation. It just took so many people to make that happen. And there's those ladies. And look at Coach McGraw in the back there with that t-shirt, Girl Power. That's kind of the whole attitude they had of just helping to make this happen. And we can't thank them enough. On the next slide, you can see our favorite day of the build season is usually when the walls go up. I mean, you just see literally a house coming up out of the ground. And so here are the ladies putting those wall panels up. And we have a real treat for you, everybody, because not only do you get to see Kia say thank you in a video, but we have her hopefully live in person from our office. So let's go to that right now, and let's see if we can talk to Kia and let her tell you in her own words what this means to her. Can you hear us, Kia?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Kia, we saw a beautiful picture and video there of your 3 girls. Tell us, first of all, how did you hear about the Habitat program?
Well, I grew up in Michigan. I had a friend there that I went to high school with. Her mother went through it. So when I got here, there was no homes available. Places for me were sky high. So when I talked to my mom, she said, why don't you try Habitat? I said, no, I'll never be able to do that. So about a couple months later, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. So I did. I had researched everything. I actually looked at the application online and I gathered all my documents before I even attended the application meeting. So then I went to the application meeting and it went from there. After that, they, had to call and make an appointment. I went up to the podium. I said, well, here, I have all my documents now. So I was excited. I was ready to go from the start.
Oh, that's great. Tell us what you think this means for your girls. I mean, they're old enough to, I would think to get excited about this. What do they tell you?
Oh, they're ready to pick out rooms. Well, when they were laying the sod, they ran through the house, picking rooms out. They're very excited. They're already telling me what colors and what bedroom sets, and they go online and pick out $5,000 worth of bedroom stuff. I'm like, wait a minute now. So yeah, they're super excited.
Yeah. Well, Kia, there's many of the volunteers that have been out there swinging a hammer, helping to raise money. They're in the audience. I know you can't see them, but they can see you, they can hear you. What would you like to say to them? Just in your own words, what do you want to say to them?
Thank you. Thank you for helping. I feel like a big part is the volunteers helping them come out, have it all built and put together. Everyone worked together. Everyone was very mannerable, respectful to each other. Thank you.
Kia, I know they also would say thank you to you and just tell you how much they admire you, because you were an inspiration on the job site. Because I was there, particularly in the first few weeks of your build when we kind of had that build blitz time. And when they see you working so hard, when they see you using your time off from work to come out on the build site, and when they see your energy and your appreciation, that just fuels them. But there was something that happened. I think it was the first week, if I remember correctly. It was, yeah, I know I seen you laughing. You worked so hard and it was so hot. We were worried about people, getting overheated. And you didn't tell us at first. What happened to you after that first few days?
Man, I was swinging the hammer like I had been building for 50 years. I got dehydrated, actually.
And you went to the hospital, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you just didn't happen to tell us that.
No.
We were so glad that you were okay, but you worked so hard and got so dehydrated, but then you came right back out. And
yes, I felt a little awful, but I got my Pedialyte and I kept at it.
My goodness. Well, we appreciate that kind of attitude and hard work, but we do want to keep you safe on the build site. Okay, now you're looking your house right now. You just talked about laying sod. We're putting the finishing touches on your house. What has the homeownership department told you about a closing date? Are we getting close?
Yes, we are getting very close. They estimated time frame will be the second week of December.
Okay, and then we could get you in that house for Christmas. Yes. That would be a great thing, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Well, Kia, thank you for taking the time to join us. There is nothing better than to be able to talk to you live and in person, and for everybody on this call to hear from you personally how this is going to be life-changing for you. And so many of us that have been part of particularly this build going on in Mishawaka, we're going to eventually have about 80 houses in that subdivision. The sense of community, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but just some of the things just what that represents. I'm so glad that you're a part of it, and we appreciate just your hard work and what you've done. Nobody has handed this to you. You have worked hard for this, and we'll tell everybody through email and any way that we can when your house dedication is, so they can celebrate with you. But is there anything else you want to say to everybody before we go?
I would just like to say thank you. Thank you again.
All right. Well, you tell your girls that we're proud of them as well, and we look forward to seeing them grow up in that Habitat house.
Hey, thank you.
All right. Thanks, Kia. Next, we want to tell you about another one of our house projects, and that was on Thomas Street in South Bend. And I believe that a lady by the name of Cindy Getty is on this call. Cindy, I can't see you, but I'm just going to use my imagination that you're out there. And I just want to say thank you. I can remember, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago, when you called our office out of the blue and said your family owned a house on Thomas Street in South Bend and you wanted to donate it to Habitat. And I can remember we said, sure. And we had all these plans to make it happen quickly. Didn't quite work out that way. Here we are in 2020, but I tell you what, it has been well worth it because we believe we have found the perfect family for this house. And the picture that you see on your screen there, everybody, is Cassandra Red and her son, Ryan. And the reason why I say we think this is the perfect house for them, because you can't see it in this picture, but right across the street, there's a daycare called El Campito Daycare. And Ryan attended that daycare for 8 years. And he just feels like that whole neighborhood is home for him. And in fact, we had a house dedication and several of his teachers who absolutely loved Ryan, they came over and participated in that house dedication. I think we got a few other pictures here to show you. There we go. See some of our construction crew, some of those ladies from the daycare. Of course, we're all wearing those masks. And you can see what a fabulous job they did on this rehab construction team. I wish people could have seen the before and after pictures of what had to be done to make the house look like this. But we just made it as much of a home that Cassandra just really would feel comfortable in. We actually put in an extra door off the back of the kitchen that we knew would be a real help to her, added some extra upgrades. She has a garage now in the back. And so here they are at the front of the house. But what we have for you is a video. And every time, you know, someone purchases a home from Habitat, they go through a closing process like any other homeowner. And so this is Rick and Morgan with Cassandra there at Meridian Title. And we give away little Habitat swag. Of course, they sign so many papers, as many of you know what that process is like. But here's a video of Cassandra saying what this moment means to her, but also specifically saying thank you to the Getty family for what they did to help make this possible. So enjoy. All right, so Cassandra, this is a happy day. I see a smile on your
You do
face.
see a smile. I just want to say thank you to the Getty family for donating that house. It means the world to me and my family. You don't even know how happy I am now. This house is changing my life right now. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, from my family to yours. You really made a difference. Thank you.
Now, Cassandra, just what are you feeling right now? I mean, this is a big deal. You just signed all this paperwork.
I am accomplishing something I never thought I could, something that I never thought possible right now. Thanks to Habitat, thanks to your family, from my family, I'm making a difference for my son, providing a future for him, something that'll be in our family forever.
Do you think you're ever going to move from that house?
I'm never moving from this house. I am never moving from this house. I love the way it turned out. This has been a process to get here, and I am so happy. I am overjoyed right now. Thank you so much.
Cassandra, on behalf of all of us, the Habitat staff, the Habitat board, all the volunteers that helped work on your house, especially the construction staff, we want to say we're proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
You worked hard for this. I can't remember exactly how many months you've been in the program, but you've been going through classes, you've been working on your sweat equity. And we always tell people you can hold your head high during the key ceremony and the house dedication, because no one's just giving this. Yeah, show us that key. Hold that key up. Look at that. You got your own Habitat keychain, but you did this. And you know what? Your son is going to remember how hard his mom worked and all the memories that you have in this house as he grows up. We're going to be celebrating.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
We're happy for you. So thank you very much for telling us a little bit about it, okay?
Thank you.
Boy, I hope that the sheer joy that she was feeling in that moment was conveyed through that video as you're sitting there watching this. Those of you that have joined us for this luncheon, that is so cool. And you know, Montana Nap, our former director of homeownership. I think he's in the audience, and I just want to thank him. I think Andrew Carey, who is on our staff, is in the audience as well. He's now working for Habitat International in Atlanta. I believe Elena Flynn, our former office manager and grant administrator, I believe she's in the audience as well. Each of you had a part in helping us get across the finish line for that rehab that we did on Thomas Street, and then another one that we did on Minor Street in South Bend. And I know you guys are smiling, and you know just what a big deal it is for us to have those projects completed, but more importantly, to find the right families for those houses that we know will really get the most from that strength and stability and everything that new home ownership brings. So shout out to all you guys that are watching this and that had a part in that. Well, now we're gonna hear from Nita again. She has another door prize to give away. And Nita, tell us what are you giving away? What is this?
Well, again, we have a $75 gift card to Corn Dance, and it's for Tamara Wine. Congratulations, Tamara.
All right. Thank you very much. You know, Tamara was a part of Women Build and helped make that happen. She works at Indiana Trust, and they were so instrumental in helping Women Build reach their fundraising goals. So that's great. So Tammy, congratulations. We'll make sure that gift certificate gets to you. And thank you, Nita, for helping us do that. Okay, everybody, we've accomplished 2 of our 3 goals. We have said thank you to everybody who helped us be successful this year. We have given you a chance to hear directly from our families, which is always the funnest part of all this. But now our 3rd objective is just to give you a glimpse and hopefully get you excited about our plans for 2021. And I don't know any other way to introduce this than to show you a video, a little flashback, just 2 years ago from the Carter Work Project, because friends, that was just the beginning. We've got so many things that we're following up on, helping to build more houses in that subdivision. But just enjoy this video just to help you relive a little bit of how much fun that was, because many of you were a part of it.
I grew up in a home that didn't have any electricity or running water.
It's almost impossible.
We are here on our first day of the 2018 Carter Work Project.
Impossible to tell who's a volunteer,
Habitat is not a charity.
a donor, or someone working to build their own home.
We don't give away any home.
The one thing they never thought they'd have.
I know a place full of color and sound.
This many people come together in one place at one time for one reason.
The family has to put in hundreds of hours of work.
But it's not what you think. It's not to build homes.
Do something that helps somebody else.
It's to build community.
Habitat is the perfect place for that.
Invest in life itself.
I'm not an easy one to cry, but I have wept when we finished a house for a family that never had been in a decent home before.
And that's why you can't tell who's who at a Habitat build. We're all the same. And everyone here knows it.
Lord, join with these generous people in their effort to build homes for the people of our community.
If my mom was here, every homeowner would be in the car with us going home. That's it. Then I'll be living in our house right now.
If you've never built a Habitat Jimmy Carter Work Project, you're about to get a huge case of what we call habititis.
To have President Mrs. Carter here and Garth Brooks and Tricia Yearwood and the big surprise with David Letterman.
She would be going, until these people get your house, come on, let's live with us.
What an opportunity to have the spotlight of the world on Mishawaka, Indiana.
I can't tell you what it means to me to look out and see this in my hometown.
It's going to be hot today. Oh, honey, come on.
This home will bring me stability.
Every family deserves a chance to build a better life for themselves.
The kids are really excited about the program, and the president wants to meet them.
President Jimmy Carter.
Thank you, everybody.
It's amazing that there is this community of people here.
How glad we are that you're here.
Hacienda was here today, Cor Horvath was here, Mutual Bank was here yesterday.
I can't say thank you enough.
I gotta tell you, what you guys got over everybody else on the planet is community. You just do.
It's like planting a seed. That's what it's like. And then to come back a year later and to see that it's alive and growing, that's very satisfying. I mean, really satisfying.
This is my princess house. This is what I call it.
Habitat is literally their only hope for home ownership.
This is the most life-changing thing in my life that I've done on my own, that somebody else isn't giving me for free.
Every one of us decides this is the kind of person I want to be. We have an opportunity to live a completely successful life.
Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. We love you guys.
What could be better than that? This has been the best organized and the most pleasant that we've ever experienced. One of the best we've ever seen in the whole world.
Work for Habitat. It's so wonderful.
It's mine. You can't take it away. You can't change my life status. It will be mine forever.
Almost impossible. In the summer of 2018, the world brought love, laughter, and life. A forever gift to our community.
Cooking our first meal, having holidays, it's wonderful. Like other families where we can actually be normal.
May God bless the volunteers, the donors, and the hard-working families of the 2018 Carter Work Project.
From the bottom of my heart, I express my gratitude to all of you.
All right, how many of you are ready to do that again? I'll tell you what, that video never gets old. I love to watch that, and almost everybody on this call, I was looking through the ticket list, almost everybody on this call was a part of that. And we just have those memories that we're going to always share. And September 20th through 24th of 2021, we're going to be out building at the Fields at Highlands subdivision again. And we just like to invite all of you. We're calling it our Habitat Work Project. And we're going to build as many houses as we can raise money for. We're going to help get the park installed. Just in case you didn't know that, we took 6 of those lots in that subdivision, and we are now going to put in a park. We believe that over 100 kids are eventually going to be in those houses, and they're going to be able to use that park. And it's just going to be a wonderful place, a sense of community, not just houses, but really a sense of community where people know their neighbors, where people are excited and happy to live there, and to be a part of it and to have the opportunity to build 80 houses. I mean, it's just amazing. Now, some of you know our philosophy because we said this all along. We don't want that subdivision to be just 80 houses, 80 Habitat houses. We want it to be reflective of any other neighborhood. And so we want a 60-40 split. That's what we're working towards. 60% Habitat houses, 40% market rate houses. So what does that mean? That means that anybody that wants to can live in that subdivision, that we have lots for sale right now. We have spec houses for sale right now that eventually, when that all gets filled in, it's just going to be just a wonderful, diverse community with affordable homes. Speaking of affordable, has anybody noticed that, yes, if you're selling your house right now, this is a great time to sell your house because you're probably going to get pretty good value. But then when you turn around and try to buy a house, that the inventory isn't the greatest, and you also, you're going to pay quite a bit more than what maybe you were expecting. And I'm starting to hear a phrase being used in housing circles called the missing middle. And what they mean by that is there seems to be a missing element of houses, and this is for our area, of about $180,000 to $260,000 where you really can't find housing, affordable housing in that range, and people are stuck. They're looking for that. Builders are not building in that range because they can't really make enough money to make it worth their while. Now, Habitat houses don't cost $260,000. We're towards the lower end of that, but it is getting more expensive to build. And here's where I'm going with that. I want to tell you about two very exciting initiatives that we are starting in 2021. One is a partnership with the Notre Dame School of Architecture, and the other one is a partnership with the Innovation Lab at the University of Notre Dame. Now, let me start with the partnership with the School of Architecture. We're in the middle of finalizing an MOU with the faculty and administration there. In fact, it's being run through their legal department right now. And they're going to design a course where students one semester will design an affordable house and then come out the next semester and help build one of those house designs. And it will give us a chance as an organization for the University of Notre Dame and Habitat for Humanity to continue to be leaders in this sphere of affordable housing and to hopefully find new and creative ways to meet the needs of our families, to meet housing needs, but maybe in a way that we've never thought of before, using new products, new designs, new drawings. And so these students are going to help, they're going to engage in this whole very important field of affordable housing. And we couldn't be more excited about it. And the course is being developed and is actually very far along. And we'll be giving an opportunity for many of you to come out on the job site and to volunteer and to help build those new house designs. So that's one thing we wanted to tell you about. And the next thing is working with the Innovation Lab and Matt Levy and a group of just some of the best and brightest minds that are interested in this affordable housing space and that are willing to get together and say, okay, how is there a way that we could redo this and significantly reduce the cost of our home? So we've called it the $60,000 house project. And we were inspired by a similar project at Auburn University where they did a $20,000 house project. That was a little too low for us. Now, we're not talking about including the cost of land, but we just said, okay, the $60,000 house project. Gurley Leap has already stepped up and donated $150,000 for this cause. And I'm going to continue to raise more money to help give us the seed money to build these houses. Dave and Pam Jarrett, I think you are in our audience. Want to give a shout out to you guys and thank you for helping us make that connection with Gurley Leap. I know you're very interested in helping Habitat figure out ways to control costs. But friends, we keep talking about the pandemic. Unfortunately, one of the things that has happened is that construction material costs have really increased. The price of carpet, just to give you an example, has gone up 30%. What a standard 2x4 that used to cost, I can't remember what Kenny told me, $2 to $3 is now costing over $7. When you take a whole house package just for the lumber and you double that, I mean, you really start to see the impact and how it can hurt Habitat from helping as many families as we want to. So we've got to not only raise more money, we've got to figure out a way to build houses even more efficiently, more affordably, so we can serve as many families as we want to. So these two projects, the partnership with the School of Architecture and this $60,000 house project, are some of the things that I'm the most excited about right now because it represents innovation. It represents us taking the most unusual year we've ever lived through and trying to leverage those experiences to make us better and to force us to go back to the drawing table and say, is there a way that we can improve our processes? Can we do more with less? How can we rethink this? And to just see our community get involved, particularly young people, and get engaged in this is inspiring. And I think it really represents what's going to set the tone and the strategy for the next 20 years of Habitat for Humanity of St. Joseph County. So we were excited to tell you about that. Now, as you know, part of this luncheon was a silent auction. And we had set a goal, an ambitious goal of raising $50,000. And I didn't want to psych everybody out, so I think on the Give Grove website we actually have 40,000, but secretly my goal is 50,000. So what we want to do is we want to share with you just a little bit of an update about this silent auction that's going on right now, and Terry Burks is going to tell you a little bit about it. So take it away, Terry.
Hi, Jim. Thank you. Well, this is pretty exciting. We will get right on this. Oh, hold on just a second. Just a minute to find our site here and get it up there. Unfortunately, I don't think that was the one. I'm sorry about that, but we'll get right on it. So our
That's okay,
silent
we know.
auction,
There we
here's our
go.
silent auction. Sorry about that. So we have lots of items here. And first I want to do a big shout out to all of our friends at Habitat that's donated these items. We have over 65 items with starting bids just 50% of the retail. Bidding goes till midnight tonight, so you can stay up late and bid, or if you like, you can click on this view item on any of the items, and you can click on this auto bid and put your amount in, hit bid, and it will continue to bid for you and increment up by the auto increment amount of this bidding amount here, $1 here, until you reach your maximum bid. So you don't have to stay up all night if you don't want to. But we have lots of great items. We're Habitat. We have tools. We have a lot of tools, DeWalt and Milwaukee hand tools. These tools are lightly used. We used them in our Carter work project for just a week, and they've been well taken care of. And we would love for you to come out and not only get a tool, but a memory from that time. So we have some great ones. If you look at this DeWalt combo, if you go into that item and you look down, you'll see a description, the model number, and you're also going to see that some of these tools have multiple items. So if we have extras, more than one of those, we'll contact us if you're interested. If you didn't win, and we'll be selling those at the maximum bid price. So just browse these items. You're going to see lots of great stuff. Like we have Morris Park Country Club here, golfing. If you look and you see a current bid, that's what the bid is now, and someone has bid on it. If you see a starting bid, no one has bid on that item yet. There's a lot of great items. If you look at some of these items, they've been donated by our restore, like this KitchenAid mixer. This is brand new KitchenAid mixer with 2 attachments, $189.50 for the starting. Or this large size grand nutcracker, just $100 starting bid. If you keep going, look at this Whirlpool. You can't touch a washer and dryer right now for $1,000. This is a combo. If you click on the item and come into it, you will see the model number. If you click on the link, you'll see a picture. This dryer can be gas or electric. The washer has a power wash cycle with deep water. This is just 50% of the retail, so this will be a great gift for someone or for yourself. Other items that I would like to say, we have a lot of Notre Dame items. So this might be a unique one for someone, a size 19 pair of cleats. Those came through our restore or donated from a friend. This Notre Dame picture that looks beautiful. Now this says a starting bid was just $50, and you're going to see it's already up to $130. Someone's bidding heavy on that. And you'll see I'm not the winning bidder. I just put some of those things on here so you can see what it will look like if you win the item or if you're the winning bid. Or it'll tell you if you've been outbid. If you keep going through, you're going to see some Habitat swag. Lots of really great items. I would really like to show you this one. This is one of my favorites, a collector's item. Starting bid was $25. You can see it's up to $76 right now. So there's some other people that think that is pretty cool too. So there's a lot of things here for everyone. Their starting bids as low as $5. They go up into $1,000. So, you know, be generous, bid. Remember, this is about the giving, and enjoy yourself. Back to you, Jim.
Thank you, Terry. I appreciate you taking a little bit of time so people can see what's out there and some of those hidden gems. And everybody, your participation in the silent auction just helps us raise a little bit more money. And what we want you to know, though, is that our goal for this luncheon is to raise money that will help finish out our veteran build. And before I tell you about that, that silent auction, just remember, it will run until midnight tonight. And the Give Grove company that manages that platform, they said, Jim, just make sure you tell everybody that if they're the winner, they're going to get an email or a text message at midnight. So if they don't want to be woken up, make sure you adjust your phone or your computer or what have you. But we did that, first of all, so that you would pay attention during this luncheon instead of bidding on auction items. And also, if you needed to go and check with your spouse or somebody else to make sure they liked an item, you would have a little bit of time after work to do that. And so that's why we're going to end the auction at midnight tonight. But we thank you in advance for those of you that are participating in that. And like I said, it just helps us hit our goal. And I sure hope somebody bids on that washer and dryer combo that Whirlpool donated to us. That is such a great deal. And feel free to let your friends and family know if they're in the market for a new washer dryer. That's a big deal. Okay, so speaking of fundraising, let's talk a little bit about United Federal Credit Union and this matching challenge that they have so generously offered. Friends, this is what we're trying to do. We are trying to raise a minimum of $5,000 here at the end of this program, so that we can get those matching funds and turn $5,000 into $10,000. And we want it to go towards our veteran build. And this is the last video from one of our Habitat families that we wanted to show you. And just another one of our programs. Maybe some of you didn't even know we had a veteran build program, but this is Stacy Kirkendall. I believe he served in the U.S. Army for 20 years. And I think he's going to actually say that here, but just watch and let him say it in his own words.
My name is Stacy Leon Kirkendall, Sr. I was in the United States Army for 20 years, 11 months, and 25 days. And I also joined the National Guard after the active duty. I've been living in my current apartment for about 4 years, going on 5 now. So I started this process back in 2019 in September. And it's been almost a little bit over a year process. This process to me has given me a good opportunity to purchase a new home for what I would say forever home at a low cost for, that I would afford. So it's a great opportunity for military veterans and anyone else in the community. And some of the educational materials that I learned in this program is online classes, virtual classes, of the process of building the home, from building for installing windows, floors, and the process of getting certificates to be in this program. I'm most excited to decorate the home inside and just have a peaceful home that I could call home. So I'd like to thank the Habitat for Humanity organizations, my volunteers, construction workers, and everyone else, the staff members involved in this process, helping me get this home, and I will thank you very much.
Again, that's so great that you can hear directly from Stacy, and he can put in his own words how much this home is going to mean to him. And so he's one of our families currently working on his sweat equity, making sure that he's got everything lined up so that we can finish his home as quickly as possible. But we do need to raise the additional money required to get that finished. And so that's the challenge that I wanted to put out there. And there's several different ways that you can help us get there. One, you can use the Give Grove website, which all of you would have created an account, and you can log into that, and it's very easy for you to make a donation now. So that's one way you could do it. If you don't have access to that for some reason, you could go to our website at hfhsjc.org. And you could give through that vehicle. Or maybe if you're not comfortable giving online, we understand. But if you would send us an email, you can send it to me, that's fine. You can just let us know what your intentions are so that we can know that and we can build that into the total and know how close we've gotten to our goal. Hopefully we can go past our goal. So we currently have raised $36,000 and we're trying to get to $50,000 or as close to it as possible. And we realize, everybody, that there's a lot of good causes, and we realize that this is a unique time, but I am amazed at the generosity of our community. And I believe that, and I hope this is always the case, that you believe in Habitat, that you understand what a difference it makes in the lives of our families. And it's not just a short-term fix. It's something that this impacts these families for generations, literally. And to be a part of it is exciting. You know that Habitat works very hard to be frugal in how we spend the money. We want to serve as many families as possible. You know, we don't spend a lot of money on advertising. We don't spend a lot of money on development. In fact, we don't have a traditional development staff like a lot of nonprofits do. We do put a lot of emphasis on our restores and try to make those as successful as possible. And we do a lot of our fundraising just simply on relationships and trust. You know us, you know what we do. And we want to spend as little money on traditional development as possible. Now, some of it's necessary, but we try to really keep that to a minimum so we get those dollars to the families that need it the most. And you know that we keep our overhead down. You saw the building that we work out of, and you see that we take pride in that. And we want you to have confidence in your giving to Habitat. So with that, take a few minutes, look at the silent auction items, continue to bid on that up to midnight. Again, thank you to all of you. I'm just sitting here thinking about, is there anybody that I've forgotten to say thank you to? And I'm thinking of the audience. I mean, Ruth and Roger McFarland, I know you're watching this. Your whole family was so instrumental. For years, you've been instrumental in helping this affiliate. Can't say thank you enough. I'm thinking of First Source Bank. I was looking at the attendee list, Ryan Fenstermaker, Mark Gould. I mean, there's over 10 people from First Source Bank watching this. You guys have been such a partner, not only helping us originate and service our mortgages, but Ryan helping us walk through that PPP loan process was so important, and we couldn't have asked for a better partner. And it was relationships. I mean, we already mentioned Key Bank and just one of the key partners from the 2018 Carter Work Project, and so many others. I think we even had the executive director of the Mortgage Bankers Association on this call. Some of our contractors, I saw someone from Cloud Brothers that had logged on so they could be a part of this. And they're one of our partners that help us install cabinets in all of our Habitat houses. Each one of you, thank you. I know you're busy. I think we're within our time, which is good. And we just thank you for taking a little break to hear what's happening at Habitat. We can't wait for this COVID stuff to be over and for us to get you out on the job site. So 2021 is going to be great. And I'll just close with wishing all of you a very happy holidays. Thanksgiving's coming up. We all have a lot to be thankful for. And one of the things we are thankful for at Habitat is you. So talk to you soon.